McCabe contradicts Democrats' FBI not biased against Trump narrative. Former acting FBI Director, Andrew McCabe, has claimed that the so-called Russia collusion investigation into President Donald Trump was done covertly to not damage the probe itself by tipping off sources or targets, according to his new book. But McCabe's statement undermines the ex-FBI agent Peter Strzok's claim that the Russia probe was not leaked to the news media before the election was proof of his own integrity. Strzok's argument has been used as a narrative by many left-leaning news outlets and Democratic politicians to claim the FBI was not biased against Trump. McCabe's book, titled, "The Threat: How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump," he detailed how the FBI's Russia investigation was pursued quietly. Unlike the Clinton email investigation, which was inevitably public from the very start, and in that sense out of the ordinary for the FBI, the Russia investigation was pursued quietly, as virtually all Bureau cases are, for principled reasons. There would have been little the Bureau could say, even if saying little were not Bureau policy. Much of what we knew was based on intelligence that could not be revealed without damaging sources or alerting unfriendly actors to their existence. Going public would have impeded the investigation itself. McCabe also wrote that allowing the public to become aware of the investigation would have done the Russians' bidding for them. There was also a political issue, which President Obama and his advisers had to wrestle with. Sounding the alert in the middle of a national election, when the full picture was not yet known, could be perceived as an attempt to sway the electorate. At the very least, it would cause widespread confusion and dismay, doing the Russians' work for them. But the statements contradict Strzok's central thesis that it was done as a proof of his integrity during the 2016 presidential election. Last July Strzok presented that case to the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees. After Strzok was exposed following his anti-Trump text messages, his opening statement was, "One extraordinarily important piece of evidence supporting my integrity, the integrity of the FBI, and our lack of bias," he explained in his book. In the summer of 2016, I was one of a handful of people who knew the details of Russian election interference and its possible connections with members of the Trump campaign. This information had the potential to derail, and quite possibly defeat Mr. Trump. But the thought of exposing that information never crossed my mind. Below are a few tweets from Trump regarding McCabe's book release. Copyright Press. The FBI's probe on alleged Russian meddling was not revealed officially to the public until the election took place. As Strzok echoed that same argument at least 4 times in his testimony, Democratic lawmakers made the identical point in one questioning Strzok. One lawmaker even claimed that Strzok, somehow, had a magic bullet in his hands to derail Trump's candidacy, but didn't because of his integrity. The FBI's probe on alleged Russian meddling was not revealed officially to the public until the election took place. The former FBI agents claim that him keeping the Russia meddling probe a secret was evidence of his lack of bias, was further used narratives by media outlets. Peter Strzok just gave a hard-to-rebut defense of the objectivity of the Russia investigation's origins, was the title of an analysis piece in The Washington Post. FBI agent destroys anti-Trump conspiracy theory with one extraordinarily important piece of evidence. The Mirror. FBI veteran highlighted a gaping flaw in the GOP's theory the deep state worked against Trump. The Huffington Post. McCabe, meanwhile, faces controversy himself over his actions relating to Trump's presidency. Last year, a report by The Washington Post had revealed that the ex-bureau head is being investigated to determine whether criminal charges should be filed against him. The news has emerged months after the Justice Department Inspector General found McCabe lacked candor while discussing with officials his leaking of information to the media about the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton. McCabe has also faced a dispute over the text message from Strzok, who assisted with leading the Bureau's probe of Hillary Clinton's email serve. According to the 4-page Republican House Intelligence Committee memo authored by Representative Devin Nunes, RCA, the Strzok message reportedly referred to a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. According to Breitbart, addressing McCabe's book last week, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said McCabe was fired in total disgrace from the FBI because he lied to investigators on multiple occasions, including under oath. His selfish and destructive agenda drove him to open a completely baseless investigation into the president. His actions were so shameful that he was referred to federal prosecutors. Andrew McCabe has no credibility and is an embarrassment to the men and women of the FBI and our great country. Trump took to Twitter to excoriate McCabe following the release of the book last week.